Nick Frazier, Claudio Villalobos, on a final whistle thoughts about this good victory.
Yeah.
We're not going to say an amazing victory like others. It was well fought, well done by Nashville, but New York had a lot to do with it as well. It's a good team. We knew it coming up. There's plenty of stuff that say most of it positive there, Nick, because it's not only about this game. It's about the season. Somewhere inside me, I'm not know about you. I wouldn't like this season to stop right now.
Right.
For the level of play that this team is just showing, because you never know what's going to happen afterwards. You know, it could be like the team comes back just stronger, better, or the other way around.
Yeah, I mean, right. You make a good point because Nashville right now are clicking on all cylinders. This is a team right now that is, 33 points in their first 14 games. That's incredible. They're now third on that list of teams to do so in previous stops. That's LA Galaxy in '98 and Miami back in '01, if I'm not mistaken. Not Inter Miami, a different Miami.
San Diego last season?
San Diego as well. They're up there as well. Right. So this Nashville team is just, I think they finally get the gist of playing together and it not having to be Patrick Yazbek and Eddie Taxath in the middle. We've seen this team evolve stylistically. We've seen this team evolve depth-wise. You have players like Charles Emile Brunette who have stepped in key, I would say key moments of the games, but has definitely stepped in to be a depth piece for this team when they need to close out games. Like tonight, they put him in around the, 80th minute, 85th minute, give or take. He closed out the game in the midfield. I thought he did really well in the low block and cutting down some of those passing lanes. Obviously, Nashville kind of pushed back into more of a 5 at the back near the end to hold that 2-1 lead. And then again, in the 92nd minute, it was even mentioned in the press conference, Brian Schwacke, who has just been top-notch, man. He's been top-notch the entire season, especially in CONCACAF Champions Cup, but especially tonight. Tonight, that kick save in the 92nd minute to keep Nashville to have the 3 points to stay top of the Eastern Conference at 33 points.
I mean, one of the things that I always keep in mind, Nick, is like when a team learns how to win is great.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But when a team learns how to win no matter what, it's even greater.
It's dangerous.
Yeah, and that's exactly, you're using a better word. This is what's happening, in my opinion, with Nashville. It's not only a team that likes to win, wins the games, wins here, undefeated at home this season, but it's also a team that have learned how to win no matter what. I mean, tonight was one of those games where maybe you could have said, well, maybe it could have been a tie, maybe could have even lost the game.
Sure.
But they found a way to do it, and even to Brian Schwacke, like you mentioned very properly. But it's just one of those team efforts that really was taken perhaps to the end of the season, because it's not gonna. Maybe sometimes it's not just that game that you beat somebody here 3 or 4 goals to nothing, but that very close game that you beat New York 2-1 in a night like this.
There's something you've mentioned at the beginning of the season about BJ Callahan and his side, BJ Grit. I don't know where that's been the last couple of weeks, Claudio. You haven't mentioned that, but this is definitely a BJ Grit type of game, and I think this team is starting to adapt to that model that he wants to play. It's like next man up mentality. Whoever's in there, they're going out there and they're going to win. It may not be pretty, like you mentioned, but they're still going to go out there and collect the win.
No, not only that. We're saying, see you, take care. Not only that, it's just that the grit, as I call it, is just this fact. It's the way of showing that they might not. How do I say this?
It may not look pretty on the field.
It might not look pretty on the field, but also it doesn't mean like the grit is going to show all these parts in one game.
Right.
It might or might not, but one of them probably holds together like tonight.
It's over a duration of games.
Yes.
Multiple games. Like you could go back to last week, starting on Wednesday. They went to New England. They won 3-0. Yes, Andy Nahar did get hurt, but that was something I asked BJ Callahan after last Wednesday night was, Reed Baker Whiting playing right back, how did you think he did? And he said, we evaluated him as a dual threat type of right and left back, one of those wing backs, not really wing back, one of those fullbacks in a roundabout way where you can use your left and right side of the field. And they looked at him as one of those young players that can do both. And so
he's doing very well.
Yes, absolutely. And again, the next man up mentality. Andy goes down, you got to figure out a way to evolve the lineup. And it's impressive to see a guy that we can mention here, in Brian Acosta.
Oh, yeah.
Who has played all the minutes the last, 2 to 3 matches since Yazbek and Tags have been out. I mean, let's be fair. In the month of May, this team has been night and day different. Like, yes, the quality has not been where it has been in games past,
I agree.
but the results are still there. The results continue to climb. You get the 0-0 draw at Philadelphia. That was right before they go to Tigres for the CONCACAF Champions Cup semifinal. And then after that, you go and play New England. You play LAFC here, 3-2, another victory there. Brian,
Or then you beat Charlotte here.
yes, you beat Charlotte 4-2.
Yep.
And we'll get to a player that played in that Charlotte game that returned here tonight after 6 matches. We'll get to that here in a moment. But Brian Acosta being one of those integral parts of the midfield that I think is something that should not go unnoticed.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, it was just very bold. We've talked about this, not only about BJ, but any coach. It's very bold for a coach that says, we do have the next player mentality, because that's not easy to do.
No.
Yes, that's a wish more than anything else for most coaches. No matter how deep you are in your team, which is this team is deeper for sure this season, but it's difficult. It's very difficult, especially when you go long with players. Brian Acosta, going back to him, long periods of time without playing a real game. Because one thing is to keep to stay practicing, to do all the effort that he does, Brian does. We've seen him in every practice, but the rhythm of playing games against other teams is what is lacking most times when a player comes up. And Brian Acosta right now, I mean, really, is somebody going to take his place that easy when they come back?
Maybe. I don't know. That's a good question. To me, Brian Acosta's play has definitely evolved into being a more depth role player for me, because you obviously have Eddie and Patrick. But say if they need a rest on a let's say a Wednesday night match in August or September, and it's in the MLS and you got to get some time, put Brian in there. I think having Brian get a few games under his belt, because we saw last season, Brian Acosta was put into those situations kind of like Charles Emile Burnett, where he's put in the 85th minute to close out games. To me, I just didn't see the effectiveness of Brian when he was closed down, passing lanes and the low block or stuff like that. That's what I was just concerned about. But no, he's shown that he is more capable of being that, not really a box-to-box midfielder, but can definitely take that role on if needed. And I mentioned earlier about, Nashville's month of May. This team has 11 points in 5 matches, Claudio. 11 points. And I remember talking to you on the phone. I was like, look, they'll be lucky if they get 4 or 5 points in the next 5 matches. I told them a point. I told you a point per game.
I remember
a
that.
point per game for me. I'd be okay with that because of the losses of Eddie, Patrick, and now Andy and Sam. But thank you for bringing up Sam Surridge. Back on the pitch tonight after 6 matches.
Oh, that's good news right there.
What did you think of the 20 minutes that you saw out of Sam Surridge?
I mean, when I think about it, it showed in a couple of 2 or 3 plays that the parts of the game that he brings to the table. I mean, this is a guy that actually we've talked about it very many times. He comes back to the middle of the field, especially tonight when Nashville had to stay on that low middle of the field block for a longer period of times. When he comes in, not only that, I'm going to say something next after that, but when he starts doing that, the other team has to worry more about a fresh guy, fresh legs, strong as he is, and that kind of level up a little bit the last part of the game, even though they had that opportunity in 92 minutes. But on the other side, I have to give, again, kudos to BJ. One of the problems that the team was having in the last few minutes of the second half was what this team was doing on the left side, because of they were actually doing a lot of stuff there against Reed by himself.
Reed Baker White.
Reed Baker White. There was no help up front for him. And what did he do? He brought Josh Bauer in, took Kazam out, and then sent
Alex Moylan for Madrigal.
Sent Baker to the front.
Oh, yeah. He pushed Baker up. That's right. Yeah.
That side. So he pretty much closed everything now.
Yeah.
He pretty much. That's the grit right there. That's exactly what the grit we always talk about. Because it doesn't mean that the grit has to function like it has in some games. Sometimes it's just one piece of that grit that has to come into play, like tonight, especially in the second half.
Yeah, and back to my point about Sam Surridge real quick. It's 20 minutes that we saw of him. To me, I thought it was just to get his feet under him again. And obviously they're going to be, not on the pitch for 6 weeks because of the World Cup break. And you want to get these guys, a little bit of in-game shape for the most part. But back to your point about Reed Baker Whiting and then having Josh Bauer in, again, that comes back to the point that I mentioned at the beginning of this live reaction. is that 5 at the back. You had to have that strong force to close out a game, and that's something that we've, I think, started to recognize with this. I call it the B team. Is that okay to say?
Well, it is always been okay.
No, I'm just saying like an A team and then a B team.
Well,
Would you
what-
consider
yeah,
this the B
well,
team?
that's what I'm saying. The problem is that in this team, some of these players have shown, well, I'm not B, man.
Right. No. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying for the rotation right now,
Maybe, okay.
that just seems to be the B team because of the other
I
guys
mean,
that are.
that B that you're using, it has different meaning on this team.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like these guys are all A caliber players. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just saying when it comes to roster construction and just depth purposes, this is for sure the B squad. When you need, like for CONCACAF Champions Cup, all the top tier players are playing at
Right,
the A squad.
right.
This to me is the B tier. So with that being said, when you have the B tier playing, B tier. I thought I said beer. My bad. Words are hard. Words are not wording. But no.
Too late for that.
Yeah, exactly. When you see this B squad kind of like, how do I put it? You mentioned the low block and how Brian and even Charles, that I mentioned at the beginning of this live show, that they're evolving into being complete midfielders. And that's something that we haven't seen from Nashville in quite some time, is having depth in that midfield. And I think now you can kind of trust that a little bit more, you know? And that, again, goes to the BJ grit.
Oh, yeah.
The BJ grit that you've coined is something that you can kind of look at and say, yeah, this is evolving. This is starting to
yes,
work.
it is.
And you're
It
getting the most out of veteran players like Brian Acosta.
Now, we knew coming in that Nashville was going to have problems. All teams have these problems with New York City because of the way they like to attack, opening the flanks.
Mm-hmm.
When they open the flanks, they close down the middle, and that causes a problem for the other teams because you have to be busy so much on the back.
And structurally sound.
Yeah, structurally sound, and you have to be on each flank. You have to stay back, which is not something that Nashville enjoys doing. They
Yeah.
don't like it because they usually have Nahar or even Love is going up more freely. I'm going to say that way. Against New York, you can do that, and the problem is that what happens next? The second stage of the grid comes in. When a team in New York does that, they're going to leave those spaces behind
Right.
the second block, their second block, and that's what Nashville exploited a little bit better, especially in those situations where they were close to the goals and how they scored. Because I mean, even though the goals came from free
From set pieces.
so set pieces, the set pieces were caused because of what Nashville was doing, exploiting the pockets and the spaces that New York will give even by attacking so much to the flanks.
Isn't it interesting? And actually, before I get to this, to your point, when Nashville was defending in the low block, well, I'd say roughly after Maxwell Willegi's first goal for Nashville SC, and we'll get to that as well. After that goal, we saw Nashville, and you mentioned with Daniel Lovitz and Reed Baker Whiting as those fullbacks.
Right.
Alex Moyle drops back when he was subbed in. And the thing is, with New York City FC, the pressure they brought was the more diagonal passes across from one another, like from the left side of the pitch all the way to the right side of the pitch. Those diagonal balls, you could see Alex drop back and help Daniel because
Oh yeah.
you knew
to do it.
you have to, and especially so because you have the 2-1 lead. But that's another factor to all this, is that we're now seeing this team be able to hold on to a lead. And I would say last season that was something that was, there, but not to this degree, like not to what we're seeing this time.
And not only that, but also you have to take into account that you with New York, you have another problem with individuals like Nicolas Fernandez and
Malachi Jones.
Malachi Jones and Ojeda. Right? Those three guys, they move so much.
Mm-hmm.
They're so dynamic and the way they play that you have to keep an eye by committee on them all the time. You can't just say this guy's gonna come my zone and I'll be here waiting. No, they just move around so much and they attack you on one side and the other side. So that really tells how sound the effort from Nashville defense was tonight, because like we saw what happened in the last game when there were problems on both sides of the game. Lovis was having a lot of problems on this side. Reed even was having a lot of problems on the right side as well, and not tonight. Again, BJ found a way, and her guys at the coaching staff to say, well, we're gonna face this for sure, but this is what we're gonna do, and they came up on top. And there's something I have to mention.
Go ahead.
I don't think that was a penalty, was it?
No, yeah.
I mean,
back in what, the 22nd minute, I believe.
Yeah.
Malachi Jones was coming down the left flank, cuts in, and it looked like he tripped on air. He tripped over his own feet. I
Yeah.
mean, that's kind of what it looked like. But I could see where the referee could probably say there was a shoulder bump that caused his momentum to go forward. That's maybe something that could have been, addressed in the post-match press conference. Not with BJ or anything, but with the referees with MLS.
That's kind of cheap.
Yeah, and the head referee, Alex De Silva, on average through 7, now 8 fixtures, I'm sure the average goes down, but coming into tonight's match, through 7 fixtures, his average of yellow cards awarded, was 4.57. So tonight we only saw 2, but it just goes to show you how disciplined these two teams were and the momentum. That was something that I mentioned on my Twitter account. You can follow Nick Frazier 23 on Twitter. Is that after Nashville's goal and then after New York's goal, it was back and forth, very even. The momentum was very even. So that's something.
And the problem with what I have with that is that it happens in every game. That's for sure.
It does.
The problem is that in a game like tonight, it sends not it sends a message because it wasn't a message, but it brings another team back into the fight where maybe they were not.
Correct. Yeah, that was something.
That was the problem.
Yeah, so that was something the NSC Roadies quote tweeted on the Twitter and said that, yeah, we earned our goal. We had to work for it. They did not.
Right.
That makes sense. It does make sense. And it just is interesting to look at the way New York, I guess, structurally attacked Nashville, like you mentioned on the flanks, and then they cut inside. Like, there was not a lot of funneling through the middle. It was all through the flanks. Whereas for Nashville, the counterattack, even into like...
And they do it very well.
Yeah, well, they absolutely. Yeah. Nashville, even late into the game, probably like the 85th minute, we're still pressing and still higher up. And that's the way BJ plays. And I love it. I think that's something different. Yes, it gets you a little bit susceptible to counterattacks. But with the way this team is structurally sound physically and mentally, I don't see an issue going forward with that. That's why I'm just so, not upset, but frustrated that the World Cup is, happening. 1, because Italy's not playing in it. That's one thing. But 2, this team is just playing so well.
It is. I mean, I can only imagine right now, after the break that they have to have. Remember, BJ already told us a couple of times that there has to be a mandatory break where they cannot do anything. All MLS teams have to do it. And then what?
Middle of June is
middle of June. Yeah.
They can start training again.
I can only imagine, Nick, the competition, how hard is it going to get in this game when all the players are back and healthy.
Yeah.
Because right now, you just can't say, this is my position, I'm getting it back. Maybe not, sir. Maybe not. I mean, the coach will have to have that hot potato in his hands, and he have to decide whether it's, again, Jasbeck, whether it's Eddie Taxet, whether it's Corcoran, playing really well, by the way. We haven't said anything about him. And Brian Acosta, talking about only the 4 guys in the middle.
Right.
Even we have to say it, Ahmed Kassam is making a strong effort right now. Maybe a lot of things are still not working on his side, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Yeah. But he's still doing a much better effort in keeping, in this case, Alex Will outside.
And check.
There is no way to see Warren Madrigal on the bench anymore. Hardly ever. He's
definitely turned into a true starting role player.
And what can we say about Mokhtar and Christian Espinosa playing their best soccer of their lives, honestly?
Yeah, well, 100%. And Gentry Estes, who was in the press box, said it best. It's the 80th minute, and these guys are playing like they're in the first half. The way Hani positions himself off the ball in the first half and the second half is one of the main reasons why his stamina is so high later into these games. I believe Ben Wright was the one up there saying it was over 80% of the minutes Hani Mukhtar has played this season.
Yeah.
And as for Christian Espinosa, you could say BJ has strategically placed him in certain situations in the lineup to say, hey, you know what? We don't have the depth to really get us over the hump. We need you to start in this game. And I think we've seen that the last couple of times to where they need Christian Espinosa in this case because of the injuries that are the 4 main injuries. Now it's 3 because Sam is back, from health because of his back and his hamstring and so forth. So now that they have that, to see those two play off of each other is a good sight to see because that means your veterans are on the same page as the youngsters. And this team as a collective is starting to gel.
One thing that probably you've thought about it by yourself and even we start touching on our conversations, Nick, is there's something that never changes. No matter what general managers, even coaches say around the league and around the world in soccer or football, teams need to hire good players,
Yes.
not just players. So, and it's only, we're not going to talk about anybody or against anybody. Whoever's gone is gone. But what I'm talking about is this. Christian Espinosa is a good player.
Oh, yes.
Not just a player.
He's a top quality
And
player.
he's made a big difference in this team, and not just bringing somebody because we have a place open.
You need a body. No, it's not like that.
No, that's not. Once this team decided to bring good players in, Nahar, Espinosa, just to mention three, Willetsy, Palacios, Madrigal. Well, then Shockey. Look, 5 players. They're all starters.
Taxhead. We can go on and on.
We can
It's
keep
honestly,
going.
it's a full starting 11.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But they're good players, not just people.
They're quality players. I would say not good quality players.
Exactly.
Because that's what it is in the MLS. You need good quality players to be at the top end of the league, and that's what they are right now.
That's the way to go.
Yep.
Anything else is not going to work. Or it might work for a couple of games or 3, but it's not going to work for a full season.
I'm intrigued. I'd like to get your thoughts on this. I'm intrigued to see how Nashville consumes these 6 weeks off. And when I say consume, I mean how the players choose to rest, if some of them choose to go on a vacation. Like, obviously, I don't think, Maxwell Willeji is going on a vacation, but he did mention in the post-match press conference that he's going back home to Ghana to visit with family. And I was the one that asked him a question of, like, what was it like after the game where you got text messages? And he goes, there were a lot of text messages. He said there were people back home in Ghana that probably were not asleep yet. He said roughly it's 2 a.m. back in Ghana. And to hear that just goes to show you, one, probably comes from a small town,
right,
and that he is the face and focal point in that town, which goes to show you he's brought up in a good way, humble way. And he even alluded to that in the press conference too, is that, I'm a humble guy and the way I play, and also to the fans. He is for the fans.
Oh, yeah.
That guy, Maxwell Willeji, is all for the fans.
And fans loved it already.
Scoring is
short time.
Scoring is.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to ask you the question because it'll be difficult to find out or to know what these players are planning to do on these days that are going to be off. But I can tell you, for instance, Warren Madrigal, one of the main characters of this team right now, he's not going to be resting either. He has two games with the Costa Rica national team. He was called up. He's going to play against Colombia and England for the World Cup. So,
and those are, because Costa Rica didn't make the World Cup, those are like more exhibition games.
Yeah, that's right. Just friendlies, exhibition games. More to keep those guys in shape, the ones that are going to play in the World Cup. That's Warren. I'm not sure anybody else is on
Eddie Taxhead probably is.
Eddie might be.
Just recovering along with the Yazbek.
Yeah. But, hopefully, having the season they're having, these players, well, most of them, we don't have a way to think otherwise, will take care of themselves well. They know what BJ demands from them. He's a demanding coach.
Oh, yeah.
He's a strict coach. He's a disciplined coach, even though he's...
That's the word, discipline. Not strict, but a disciplined
coach. So they know who they're playing for.
Yep. And I'm sure the medical staff and also training staff are giving each one of these players a regiment. And this is how I would treat it. The first 3 weeks of the 6-week period, treat it as like a preseason training camp, to where every day you got to run a certain amount, do your training, whatever, yada, yada, yada. The last 3 weeks, you ramp it up like it's true preseason, because the last 3 weeks, that's when they're back in the training sessions where they can practice, where they can do stuff. So as long as you can stay those first 3 weeks in somewhat of shape, do your exercises every day, this team should be fine. And again, they're professionals. So it's not like we're talking to a bunch of 8th graders saying, hey, you need to go work out. No, it's nothing like that. It's just, you wonder how these players adapt because of the chemistry, the camaraderie that they built this season. They've been through a lot of games already.
Oh, yeah.
You wonder how that is gonna play a factor into this going into this break.
And remember, they're gonna come back to play a League's Cup as well
in August
against 3 teams here in Joris Park from Mexico. So that's a lot of work coming up as well. Well, Nick, I don't know what you're gonna be doing these weeks off as well. I'm feeling sick already. I don't know why.
I know. Cough.
I think I'm about to call my boss in a couple of weeks.
The World Cup is in 18 days, I believe. Am I not mistaken? Yeah. So,
plenty of good soccer, I believe.
A lot. And unfortunately, Italy's not in it. Costa Rica's not in it. That's okay. We'll be the spectators of the group, but
we'll be at peace. But we'll find a couple of things to support for sure.
Yeah.
Any black horses already?
Nah,
Not yet.
nah.
It's too early, right?
Yeah, way too early.
We'll see. We'll see.
One more thing before we go. It's BJ Callahan. There was a question I asked him about the evolution of this city as a sports town. We all know Nashville is going to be the host city of the Super Bowl in 2030 for Super Bowl 64. But asking him specifically about Nashville SC and how they are changing the sports landscape and just evolving it as a whole. And he said he takes it with immense pride. I followed up with the question about the pride, and he said, I take this with immense pride. You know, my kids are enrolled in school here in Nashville, and they're kids that are wearing Nashville SC gear, hats, so forth. I take a lot of pride in that. And a guy that's from the Philly area that is an Eagles fan, those passionate Eagles fans, I mean, you bring a little bit of that pride and passion to Nashville. He's changing the culture of not only Nashville SC on the pitch, but also in the community. And it helps, too, with a guy like Maxwell Waleji, who was the player of the match tonight and being the press conference player as well. That helps evolve Nashville SC as a culture with a fan base.
And he's right. I mean, he's changing the culture because of what they do, what he does. But again, we were discussing this a little bit at the press box earlier today in a very nice conversation. We could probably have a committee podcast or whatever. But I mean, I'm not. I would translate that what BJ is saying to the fan, to the Nashville soccer fan, because one thing is to be a team fan. One thing is to be another different thing altogether is to be a sport fan. And I'm talking about soccer fan in this case. I mean, if you're one of those fans that only watches soccer when Nashville plays, you're not a sport fan. You're just a team fan. And so if the team does well, you're probably a good supporter fan. But probably if it goes the other way around, you might not be even watching Nashville. And that's just not the way to go, in my opinion. Right. I mean, I'm not trying to be an example for anybody. This is my main sport that I've always liked, but I love baseball. I watch baseball anytime I have a chance. I like to watch baseball. I watch the NFL for sure. Oh yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. And I not only watch my NFL team. I watch NFL games.
Yes.
So when you get to that position as a soccer fan, then you're really a true soccer fan for sure.
Yeah, you embrace the sport for what it is. You don't just embrace a player or the team. You embrace the sport as a whole. And again, I've been caught guilty of this as well, to where watching the MLS, it may not be as appealing to other leagues, but it grows on me, and it has grown on me.
It's our league.
Yes.
That's the bottom line. Right. This is our league. The British Premier is not. The Liga in España is not.
Because it's in our backyard.
This is our league.
It's in the backyard.
Simple as that.
So, but yeah, Nashville SC tonight, as they close out the, I guess, first break of the MLS season before they go to the All-Star break. They close it out with a 2-1 victory over New York City FC. Nashville sit atop of the Eastern Conference with 33 points, and they all rest up for 6 weeks.
First place for the Supporter Shield.
Yes, that is correct.
Very important as well.
Supporter Shield being the best team in MLS.
Somebody said something about the what is a record? I don't know if it's a written record or something that the team that finishes the first half of the season as in the first place ends up winning the Supporter Shield. I'm not sure.
Well, we're not at the halfway mark point, but I get where you're coming at.
We'll see. We'll have to check into that.
Could be something for the future. Interesting. Good take there. I like that.
We'll see.
I like that. Well, as always, everybody, we appreciate you listening in to the Final Whistle reaction on Nashville Total Sports. 1025 The Game, Nick Frazier, Talking Calcio podcast. You can get the audio version of this on the 1025 The Game podcast platforms. Get the video version of this all over Nashville Total Sports on his website, nashvilletotalsports.com. Claudio Villalobos, appreciate it. As always, Nick Frazier, 23 on Twitter. Nashville Total Sports on Twitter as well. Catch him everywhere, Facebook, whatever. 1025 The Game, everywhere you can find it.
Enjoy the World Cup. We will.
Indeed. Ci vediamo.